All right, guys, welcome to 365, and I'm going to see you on the other side of it when we complete this mission. We're talking about self-honesty, right? And I told you guys the person I lie to the most myself over the years. I'm learning over the last 20 years since I've been in recovery, but really the last 2 years as I made really hard decisions about the direction of my life, what I'm allowing in my life, and ultimately imploding my life by filing for divorce. You guys know I got this idea, I made a curriculum, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna stick to it every day. But over the last couple of days, I've been doing it for almost, I wanna say I was on day 67 when I got sick. And it just, so I'm gonna talk about self-honesty for a second, about the art of the pivot. Being accountable, backtrack to the previous one. You have to be accountable to yourself. You gotta be able to be honest with yourself. And it wasn't working. It wasn't me. I felt very, don't get me wrong, my bubbling personality came out, but it was just, I'm trying to be somebody I'm not. You know what the honesty is? Sometimes I'm a complete shit show. Sometimes I don't know which way is up, and sometimes I need my friends to ground me and say, but that's not who you are. Sometimes I need my friends to say, you know what? You need to be honest with yourself and say you need help. And the most important thing in my life, the reason I'm doing this 365, the reason I'm trying to break out so I can be financially self-reliant and not have to go to a 9 to 5 or a 10 to 6 in my case, is because I want to build a future where my children have options. Because I know the reality is money doesn't buy you happiness. It buys you some cool things and some cool trips and some awesome Pokemon cards. Suck crossed. Anyways, but what it does is it gives you opportunities that someone who is living check to check doesn't have. What it is, it makes you realize that not everything in your life is a do or die moment, because if you have a financial cushion, you can make moves that may not always work out, but aren't going to decimate your family. I've learned over the last couple of months is that the reason I was in such financial despair is because I was making moves that I wasn't financially able to recover from if they didn't go south. Or if they went south. And the reality is some of them went south and I was able to pivot before it became too nuclear. I'm sharing all that with you because we are going to continue this 365 goal. I'm going to hit it and I'm going to change the world through random acts of kindness. And I'm going to be a pillar in my community and lead by example, because the truth of the matter is I told you guys, and I meant it with all my heart, for the longest time, the person I lied to the most was myself, and I'm becoming accountable for that. I am not going to lie to myself and say the way I was doing it the last couple of weeks was working because it didn't feel right. I needed to change and become who I am, which is this. I walk into a room, I'm an antisocial, social person who loves people, but hates to be around people because I'm afraid I'm gonna get hurt. But the reality is, you know what? I always tell my kids, don't be afraid to fail. Swing big, and if you strike out, at least you were at the plate. Because you know how many people sit there judging me about being here on social media, talking about my problems and all this crazy stuff, even within my own household. But what are they doing with their lives? If someone has the time to judge you, then that means they don't have the time to work on themselves. I'd rather put myself out there to help the man who's struggling in silence, because I've been that guy, than the guy who sits there and let people dictate how I live my life. I did that for years and I was freaking miserable. I'm no longer going to be miserable. I am setting the bar so high, I have no option but to fail, but at least I'll be failing forward until I accomplish my goals. In a world where you can be anything, be kind. It's priceless, it's free, and I promise you, a random act of kindness will change the world. I'm Big D. We'll see you on the other side of 365. Let's go get it.